All right, so welcome back. I had a question from a student about multiplying fractions, so I wanted to go back over this again. When multiplying fractions, we can just multiply across the top. 5 times 4 is 20, and then multiply out the 12 times 14 is 168. And then we could set about simplifying. But generally speaking, when you multiply, what you want to look for is something that will go into both a something in the top and something in the bottom. So in the top we have 5 and we have a 4. Okay, so we look to see will anything cancel with a 5 or 4 with something in the bottom. And we notice that there's actually two options here. With the 4, it's being an even number, I can divide a 2 out of the 4, and I can also divide a 2 out of the 14. Now I'll be left with a 5 and a 2 on the top and a 12 and a 7 on the bottom. And I could keep going from there. Or I could say, hey, I have a 4 in the top here, and I have this 12 in the bottom. I could divide 4 out of both of those. 4 into 4 goes one time, 4 into 12 goes three times. Okay? And then at that point, you would look to see if there's anything left that you can simplify. So there's different options, so you can go different routes. This time I'm going to actually do it in two steps just because I want to encourage you that it doesn't have to be across. They don't have to be across from each other. You can cancel stuff from the same fraction. The only rule is you just got to cancel something from the top and something from the bottom. Okay? So here with the 4, I can take a 2 out of the 4. 4 divided by 2 will be 2. 14 divided by 2 would be 7. And now as I look what's left, I see I still have a 2 on top and I have an even number on the bottom. So I can divide a 2 out of the 2 to become a 1, a 2 out of the 12 to become a 6. And then at this point, I have a 5 on the top, nothing in the bottom goes into the 5, and a 1 in the top, nothing in the bottom goes into the 1. So at this point, then I just multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5, and 6 times 7 is 42. And so I get the answer of 5 over 42. 5 over 42. Okay, so that's just one example with multiply, and now let me show you a second example. Let's say that we have 18 over 20 times 16 over 21. This one here has quite a bit more stuff that can be canceled out. So let's look at it slowly. So what you do is pick something in the top and ask yourself, is there anything in the bottom that would also go into that? And so with the 18, you kind of have a couple choices on how to start this. The 18 being even would match with the 20 in the bottom, and we can do something there. The 18 also has 3 going into it, which would match up with the 21. So that's an option. And then on the other hand, we have a 16 here, which is even, which would also match up with the 20. So you just want to pick something and cancel it out first, and then move on and keep doing that until you can't cancel it. Again, it doesn't have to be in the crossed fractions. It can be in the same fraction. Right? We just have to make sure that whatever I divide out of the top, I also divide out of the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So here I'm going to start this way and say I can take a 2 out of the 18. 2 goes into 18 9 times. And I can take a 2 out of the 20 to leave it with a 10. Okay. Now before I move on for my 18, I now see that I have a 9 there and I have a 21 down here. Well, 3 goes into both those numbers. So divide a 3 out of the 9 and a 3 out of the 21. Now, as far as this first number, it's a 3. The things that are left are 10s and 7s. None of those will work with the 3. So I'm kind of done with that part. So then I move over and I look at my 16 and see if there's anything left in the bottom. Well, right underneath is a 7. 16 and 7 don't have anything in common, but 16 and 10 do. Okay, so I take my 16, divide 2 out of it because it's even, and also do the same thing for the 10. And then I look again to see if there's anything left. And I quickly find out, no, there isn't. So I'm taking what's left now on top and what's left now on the bottom. And we're just going to put those together with a normal multiplication process. So we're going to come through here. 3 times 8 is 24. In the bottom, 5 times 7 is 35. Okay. So that takes care of the issue of multiplication. Hopefully that clears that up a little bit more for you. We also talked about dividing fractions. So I'm just going to take a look at one quick example with dividing fractions. I'm just going to copy this problem over from another set of notes here and bring it into our screen. So when we are dividing fractions, it's very important that when it's a division problem, you don't start off trying to cancel stuff like you see the 8 and the 4. Oh, I want to cross those out, right? The 9 and the 15, I want to do some crossing out there. Okay, when it's a division problem, we cannot do that. So the rule for division is that we keep the first fraction the same. We change the multiplication or the division over to multiplication, and then the second fraction gets flipped. Second fraction gets flipped. Now that it is a multiplication problem, we repeat the same process that we did in the two examples up above. Right? We have the 8 there. Right? The 8 does not have anything in the bottom that'll go into it, because the only things that go into 8 are 2 and 4. And neither one of those go into a 15 or a 9. Likewise, there's nothing to do with the 4. Right? Nothing in common. So these ones actually have nothing in common at all. So we can go ahead and just multiply across the top. 8 times 4 is 32. And then 15 times 9 is 135. And now we have our simplified answer, 32 over 135. So hopefully this helps make a little more sense of multiplying and dividing fractions.